GDPR compliance is crucial in today's digital landscape. It's not just about avoiding hefty fines, it's about building trust with your customers. When individuals know their data is handled responsibly, they will likely engage with your brand. Think about it, personal data is like currency. If you mishandle it, you risk losing not just money but your reputation. GDPR empowers consumers with rights over their data, like the right to access and the right to be forgotten. This means businesses must be transparent and accountable. Embracing GDPR isn't just a legal obligation, it's an opportunity to enhance your data practices and foster loyalty. In a world where data breaches are all too common, being GDPR compliant sets you apart as a responsible and trustworthy organization. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, is a comprehensive data protection law in the European Union that aims to enhance individuals' control over their personal data. Organizations must identify and document a legal basis for processing personal data. The bases include consent, contract performance, legal obligation, vital interests, public task, and legitimate interests. If processing is based on consent, it must be freely given, specific, informed, and unambiguous. Organizations must have a clear process for obtaining and managing consent, and individuals must be able to withdraw their consent at any time. Individuals have specific rights under GDPR, including the right to access their personal data, the right to rectification, the right to erasure, the right to restrict processing, the right to data portability, and the right to object to processing. Organizations must provide clear and transparent information to individuals regarding how their personal data will be used, including purposes, legal basis, retention periods, and third-party sharing. Collect only the personal data that is necessary for the specified purposes. Personal data should only be collected for specified, legitimate purposes and not further processed in a manner incompatible with those purposes. Data should be retained only as long as necessary for the purposes for which it was collected. Organizations must demonstrate compliance with GDPR, including maintaining records of processing activities, conducting privacy impact assessments when necessary, and having appropriate policies and procedures in place. Incorporate data protection measures into the design of business processes and systems. Organizations must implement data protection measures throughout the data processing lifecycle. If a breach occurs and poses a risk to individuals' rights and freedoms, it must be reported to the relevant supervisory authority within 72 hours, and affected individuals must be informed as well. When transferring personal data outside the European Economic Area, organizations must ensure that appropriate safeguards are in place. Conduct DPIAs when processing is likely to result in a high risk to the rights and freedoms of individuals, particularly when using new technologies or processing large amounts of sensitive data. Certain organizations are required to appoint a DPO to oversee data protection compliance, especially if they process large amounts of personal data or sensitive data. Provide regular training and awareness programs for employees to ensure they understand their obligations under GDPR. Non-compliance with GDPR can result in heavy fines, up to €20 million or 4% of global annual turnover, whichever is greater. There are stricter rules for processing sensitive data, including health information, racial or ethnic data, genetic data, and biometric data. Key actions for GDPR compliance include conducting a data audit, reviewing contracts, updating privacy policies, implementing security measures, preparing for breaches, and staff training. Conduct DPIAs for processing operations that are likely to result in a high risk to the rights and freedoms of individuals. Notify the relevant supervisory authority of a data breach within 72 hours if it is likely to result in a risk to the rights and freedoms of individuals. Appoint a DPO if the organization engages in large-scale processing of sensitive data or monitoring of data subjects on a large scale. Maintain detailed records of processing activities, especially if the organization employs 250 or more employees or engages in high-risk data processing. Implement appropriate technical and organizational measures to ensure and demonstrate that data protection principles are integrated into processing activities.